Moving on to Brunei now, where a massive procession was organized as part of celebrations to mark 50-year rule of Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah.
Prince Mateen has just dropped some revelations that are shaking the foundation of Brunei's royal family. And guess who's right at the center of it all? Queen Saleha. Now, Queen Saleha has always been a major figure in Brunei's monarchy. She's been by Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's side for years, a rock-solid presence in a royal family that's always seemed so, well, unshakable. But after Prince Mateen's candid comments, suddenly people are asking questions. Is Queen Saleha's position as secure as we once thought, or are things about to get real interesting? We'll find out very soon. Queen Saleha's journey to becoming Queen. Queen Hajah Saleha binti Haji Muhammad Alam was born on October 7, 1946, in what was then Brunei town. Her family wasn't just any family. Her grandfather was actually the younger brother of Brunei's 26th Sultan. Imagine growing up with that kind of history woven into your identity. From the very beginning, her life was intertwined with tradition and duty. As a young girl, Saleha attended the Raja Isteri Girls' High School in Brunei town. That school wasn't just any place. It was where the daughters of Brunei's elite were groomed for their future roles. But it didn't stop there. She also traveled to London to study at the Signet School, focusing on polishing her English. And back home, she spent time learning alongside other members of the royal family at the Istana Darul Hana Surau. It's like every step of her education was preparing her for something much bigger. Then came the moment that would forever define her life: her marriage to Crown Prince Hassanal Bolkiah. Could Queen Saleha actually be kicked out of the royal family? The implications of this stunning question is enormous, and the truth will leave you questioning everything. Watch until the very end. You won't believe how this unfolds. It was July 28, 1965, when she tied the knot with her first cousin in a grand ceremony at Istana Darul Hana. She was only 16 years old. Imagine being that young and stepping into such a monumental role. It's overwhelming to even think about. But that's the life of royalty, isn't it? There's no guidebook, no room for hesitation. You just step up. As their marriage unfolded, the complexities of royal life became even more apparent. The Sultan eventually took other wives, as is allowed under Brunei's laws of polygamy, but Saleha's position as queen consort never wavered. How did she manage to hold her ground so gracefully in such a situation? That takes a level of poise and confidence most of us can barely fathom. When her father-in-law abdicated on October 5, 1967, Saleha stepped fully into her role as Raja Isteri, or Queen Consort of Brunei. This wasn't just a title. It came with responsibilities that would shape her legacy. She became a patron of organizations dedicated to empowering women and improving society. Think about that. While juggling the complexities of her royal duties, she was also championing causes that made a real difference in people's lives. Her list of patronages is genuinely impressive. She supported the Women's Institute, the Girl Guides Association of Brunei Darussalam, the Women's Council of Brunei Darussalam, the Women Graduates Association, and even the Brunei Shell Women Association. It's like she didn't just wear the crown, she made it a symbol of action and service. Today, her presence in Brunei's royal hierarchy remains incredibly strong. She and the Sultan had 6 children, including Crown Prince Al-Muhtadi Billah, the heir apparent. And let's not forget her 17 grandchildren, who continue to enrich her legacy. Her role as the Sultan's first wife and the mother of the future king keeps her at the center of the royal family. Isn't it amazing how she's managed to balance tradition, duty, and her personal legacy in such an extraordinary way? Can Queen Saleha truly be removed from the royal family? The story is filled with drama, secrets, and a stunning twist you won't see coming. Stay until the very end to uncover the full truth behind this royal scandal. The power dynamics. Within Brunei's palace. Brunei's royal palace, steeped in opulence and tradition, is more than just a luxurious residence. It's a powerhouse of authority and a symbol of absolute monarchy. At the helm is Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, a man whose influence stretches far and wide across the nation. Can you imagine one person juggling so many roles? He's not just the Sultan, he's also the head of state, the head of government, the prime minister, the defense minister, the finance minister, and the foreign minister. It's as if he's running the whole country single-handedly. How does someone even begin to handle such immense responsibility? Now, let's talk about the royal family dynamics. Because who isn't curious about what goes on behind those gilded palace doors? The family relationships are like a finely tuned orchestra, with every member playing their part to maintain harmony. Prince Al-Muhtadi Billah, the crown prince, is the designated successor, patiently waiting for his turn to take the throne. But it's not just about waiting in line. There's a strategy to it all. The Sultan has been known to use key appointments as a way to keep the family tightly knit. However, in recent years, there's been a shift. Instead of relying solely on family loyalty, the Sultan has started choosing people based on merit. Speaking of running the country, have you ever wondered how decisions are made in such a monarchy? It's not just the Sultan sitting on a golden throne making decrees, although, let's be honest, that image is pretty striking. There's a whole hierarchy of advisory councils involved in decision-making. Each council has its own focus, like the Privy Council handling ranks and honors, or the Legislative Council overseeing laws. There's also the Council of Ministers for executive matters, the Adat Istidat Council for state customs, and even a religious council for Islamic affairs. But here's the catch. Even with all these councils, the Sultan's word is the final say. After the constitutional amendments in 2004, his power became so centralized that he's literally above the law. But the palace isn't just about power, it's also about influence. The Sultan has cleverly blended tradition with modernization, bringing in well-educated elites to reduce reliance on the old royal guard. Isn't that a smart move? By doing this, he's created a stable and efficient administration that keeps things running smoothly. On top of that, the monarchy has cemented its place in the hearts of the people through an impressive welfare system. Free education, free healthcare, and affordable housing. Who wouldn't be loyal to a ruler who ensures such benefits? It's like the royal family has mastered the art of governance through generosity. And let's not forget the division of labor within the palace itself. The Sultan and his two sons, Al-Muhtadi Billah and Abdul Mateen, take on full-time government duties. Meanwhile, other royal family members, like the Sultan's siblings and their children, play more peripheral roles. They're part of the grand scheme, but with much smaller responsibilities. Doesn't it make one wonder what it's like to grow up in that environment? To know your role is predetermined but still part of a grander scheme? So, at its core, Brunei's palace isn't just a home. It's a large system where power, tradition, and modernization coexist. Every decision, every relationship, every council, everything revolves around the Sultan's authority, and somehow, amidst all this, the royal family manages to maintain both political stability and public support. What's really going on in the palace? The answers are more shocking than you'd expect, and the implications could change everything. Watch closely because the ending will leave you stunned. Cultural significance of the Queen's position. Queen Saleha's position in Brunei is something that's both steeped in tradition and beautifully adapted to the modern world. That's exactly what Queen Saleha does, and she's been doing it longer than almost anyone else in the world. Now, when you think of queens, what comes to mind? Crown jewels? Lavish ceremonies? Well, sure, there's plenty of that, but Queen Saleha's role is far more intricate and meaningful. In Brunei, the position of Raja Isteri, or Queen, is not just ceremonial, it's deeply tied to the cultural fabric of the country. The rules? Oh, they're strict. She has to be a lawful wife of the reigning Sultan and either have royal blood from Brunei or come from a Malay Muslim royal family. That's no small order. Yet, she not only fits the bill perfectly, but also redefines it. For starters, let's talk about her modern-day influence. Did you know women in Brunei can't hold political power or inherit the throne? It's true, but Queen Saleha has still found ways to wield significant influence. How? Through her work with organizations that truly make a difference. She's not just a figurehead. She's actively involved in groups like the Brunei Darussalam, Women's Council, the Women's Institute, and even the Girl Guides Association. Isn't that inspiring? These aren't just charities with fancy names. They're platforms that uplift women, promote education, and address welfare issues. It's like she's saying, I might not make the laws, but I can still change lives. And isn't that a kind of power too? Then there are her public duties. If you think these are just about standing around looking regal, think again. Queen Saleha takes her responsibilities seriously, representing Brunei at state functions, welcoming international dignitaries, and attending national events. But what's even more striking is her involvement in cultural and social causes. She's deeply invested in preserving Brunei's traditions and Islamic values while supporting modern initiatives. You know what's so relatable about her? She's someone who genuinely cares about her community, especially when it comes to issues affecting women and welfare. And here's a fun little tidbit. Amidst all her royal responsibilities, she still finds time to connect with nature. She loves tending to her fish pond, bird park, and fruit garden. Can't you just picture her, maybe on a rare day off, strolling through her garden, admiring the flowers or feeding the birds? It's such a humanizing image, isn't it? For someone with such a grand role, she's so grounded. But here's where it gets really fascinating. While her role is defined by tradition, and let's be honest, those traditions can be pretty restrictive, Queen Saleha manages to work within those boundaries to create meaningful change. She's become a powerful symbol of charity, social progress, and cultural preservation. Think about it. In a system where female power is constitutionally limited, she's carved out a space for herself that's both impactful and respectful of the norms. Isn't that such a delicate balancing act? So, when you think about Queen Saleha, don't just think of her as a queen with a crown and a ceremonial role. Think of her as a bridge between the past and the future, between tradition and progress. She's not just representing Brunei, she's shaping it in her own quiet, impactful way. And honestly, isn't that what makes her story so compelling? Prince Mateen's relationship with his mother. Prince Mateen and his mother's bond is the kind of relationship that makes you stop and think about how beautiful family connections can be, especially when they're rooted in love, loyalty, and mutual respect. During his royal wedding celebrations, their relationship became the unexpected star of the show, and honestly, who wouldn't be moved by their story? It's not every day you get such a heartfelt glimpse into the private life of a royal family, and this particular peek was nothing short of touching. Here's the thing. Prince Mateen, who was one of Asia's most eligible bachelors until he tied the knot at 32, has always shared a special connection with his mother. You know that kind of bond where words aren't always necessary, but you can just tell there's an unshakable understanding between two people? That's them. It's the sort of connection that makes you wonder, how do they manage to stay so grounded despite living in the public eye? Their closeness was on full display during the traditional wedding ceremonies, especially during one particularly emotional moment, the powder application ritual. If you're not familiar with it, this ceremony carries deep cultural significance, symbolizing blessings and well wishes for the bride and groom. Now, imagine this. The prince's mother, usually composed and regal, was visibly emotional as she participated. Her tears flowed, and for a moment, it felt like the grandiosity of royal life faded away, leaving only a mother and her son, sharing an intimate moment. Isn't it amazing how traditions like these can reveal so much about the human side of even the most high-profile families? But it wasn't just this one ceremony that had everyone talking. The royal wedding celebrations were a grand 10-day affair with a guest list of about 5,000 people. Yet, amidst all the pomp and circumstance, the mother-son bond shone brightly. They appeared together multiple times, their interactions radiating warmth and affection. From the way they smiled at each other to the subtle, unspoken gestures, it was clear that their relationship is the cornerstone of Prince Mateen's life. It's the kind of relationship that makes you think, how much stronger would families be if we all had this level of closeness? The traditional ceremonies put family ties front and center, and let me tell you, it was nothing short of majestic. Family members applying a ceremonial paste to bless the couple, a grand 17-gun salute to mark the occasion, and 40 spear bearers leading the processions. Can you even picture the grandeur? Yet what stood out most wasn't the pageantry, but the sheer emotional depth between the prince and his mother. It was as if in the midst of all the royal protocols their bond was saying, "This is what truly matters." But their connection goes beyond grand events and royal duties. The prince isn't just a symbol of modern royalty. He's also a devoted son who treasures his family traditions. While he has built an incredible public image as a youth leader and influencer in Brunei, his respect for his mother and the values she represents remains unwavering. Isn't it inspiring to see someone who can embrace both tradition and modernity so effortlessly? What's more, Prince Mateen seems to be handling his royal responsibilities with a perfect blend of grace and relatability. His social media presence is fresh and modern, appealing to younger generations, yet he never lets go of the values that were instilled in him by his family. During the wedding, this balance was especially evident. Family was at the heart of every ceremony, with parents and siblings participating in blessing rituals that revealed the importance of their support system. Is Queen Saleha's place in the royal family really under threat? The story is filled with twists and turns, and the final revelation will leave you breathless. Don't miss a moment of this royal drama. Royal Protocol for Family Disputes. Brunei's royal family has a pretty fascinating and intricate way of managing internal disputes. It's like they've mastered this delicate mix of tradition and modernity. Have you ever wondered how a family with so much history and responsibility keeps it all together when disagreements come up? Well, their approach is a blend of deep-rooted cultural values and modern systems, creating a process that's as sophisticated as it is respectful of their heritage. One can just fathom having a system that works so seamlessly that it reflects both the wisdom of the past and the practicalities of the present. That's what they've got going on. At the heart of this process is a structured conflict resolution system that works on multiple levels. It's not just about having a single solution for everything, it's about layering traditional Malay customs with contemporary legal frameworks. For starters, there's a special court specifically designed to handle royal matters. Yes, a whole court just for the family. How unique is that? This court ensures that when things get serious, there's a formal process to fall back on. But here's the twist. Before anything reaches that level, they rely heavily on traditional methods. These include mediation by religious scholars, also known as ulama, and interventions by respected local community leaders. Doesn't that sound like such a thoughtful way to approach conflicts? The Sultan, who's both the head of state and the patriarch of the family, plays an incredible role here. Can you imagine having the final say in every family matter while also running an entire country? Talk about a heavy crown. His authority in family disputes isn't just ceremonial, it's absolute. He carefully balances maintaining harmony within the family while upholding the royal standards everyone expects. Remember Prince Jeffrey's case? The one involving allegations of financial misconduct with a jaw-dropping $15 billion? The Sultan didn't hesitate to step in and make some tough decisions. It's clear that when it comes to family matters, his leadership is about both protecting the family's reputation and ensuring justice. Now, let's take a trip back in time to see where all this comes from. Before Brunei even had formal courts, During the British residency period, to be exact, there was this whole hierarchical system for solving disputes. Local headmen and religious scholars took care of minor issues, district chiefs handled more serious ones, and the Sultan himself stepped in for the really big stuff. The principles guiding these processes were all about mutual cooperation, known as memukang muchang, and maintaining proper behavior, or halus. It's amazing how values like these, rooted in tradition, still influence how things are done today. Even though the palace's modern system has added formalities and legal frameworks, it hasn't abandoned its cultural essence. The idea of social harmony is still front and center. Everything goes through the right channels, and respect for rank and status remains non-negotiable. This is part of why the royal family is so careful about keeping these proceedings confidential. It's not just about privacy, it's about protecting the dignity of the royal institution itself. And let's not forget, Brunei has some pretty strict sedition laws. Public criticism of the monarchy? That's a big no-no and could land someone in prison for up to 3 years. What's particularly interesting is how adaptable their system is. Even with modern challenges, they've found ways to keep everything aligned with their cultural values. For example, when it comes to commercial disputes, many royal family members actually prefer informal resolution over formal legal proceedings. Isn't that a bit surprising in this day and age? But it makes sense when you think about their emphasis on consensus building and saving face. It's just a more culturally harmonious way to handle things. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.